thank you for enabling us to be here this afternoon. Lord, please let us proceed to the best of our ability to do what it is need to be done according to our personnel committee report. This we ask you in Jesus' name, amen.
This is the Non-Parish Personnel Benefit Committee meeting. I need approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the agenda be approved as printed. And now we will get into the discussion of item number 4. Latanya?
Yes, sir. We take the vote on this. We take the vote on approving the agenda.
How many are here? You vote?
Thank you.
We will start with the administrator and treasurer.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
After the last meeting, we went back, we took into consideration everything that was said, and we did some revisions. Hiring procedures for parish administrator and treasurer. The Lincoln Parish Police Jury is an equal opportunity employer and believes that hiring qualified individuals to fill positions contributes to the overall success of the company. In hiring the most qualified candidates for positions, the following process should be followed.
Now, one thing in there where you can improve, whether you say a company, can you put jury, or is the reason why you have company?
No, the jury.
Thank you.
Organization might work. Organization too.
Organization
Something
too.
like that.
Okay. We'll first announce the vacancy and post a full job description on the Lincoln Parish Police Jury website. This position will be posted on the website for a minimum of 14 days and will remain posted until the deadline date. We'll advertise the vacancy 3 times in the official local newspaper and/or online. Advertisement should include the job title, the job description, the starting salary, and the deadline date. The personnel officer will retain all applications and resumes as required, schedule and notify each eligible candidate of their interview date, time, and place. The interview panel will consist of all police jurors.
Do you all understand that one? Number 4, bullet number 4. The interview panel consists of all police jurors. Okay?
At first, we had all 12 jurors, but there may be situations where a juror is not present, or something may come up, so we just put all jurors. Or we can just put all jurors present if you would like to.
Yep.
So the interview panel will consist of all police jurors present. General interview questions will be selected in advance and asked to each candidate during the interview by the personnel officer. Specific interview questions from the panel or public should be submitted at least 24 hours in advance for legal approval. Candidates will only be asked the approved pre-selected questions except when the candidate is asked to elaborate on the answer.
Now, this one will change. You know, we asked a question there, then. These questions have to be asked 24 hours in advance.
No, ma'am. This is saying, say for instance, you have a specific question that you would like asked.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Then you will need to bring it up to the police jury office at least a day before, because we just make sure that the question is appropriate, and we don't want to get to the interview, ask the question and say, well, disregard it, or, you know, that kind of
And
thing.
then the legal counsel will go over it with you.
Right, we'll just ask him, well, depending on what the question is, we may not even need legal counsel.
Okay.
You know, some questions.
So that's changed. We had been asked to ask the question at the interview. Now it will be 24
It
hours.
needs to be at least a day in advance.
Day in advance. So,
If you can't do 24 hours, we just ask that you don't do it at the time of the interview.
that's good. Okay.
Each juror will receive a Lincoln Parish Police Jury evaluation form with the approved pre-selected questions to rate the candidates, the applicants, on a scale 1 to 5, which 5 being the highest. After the final interview, the panel reviews the evaluation forms only as a resource to discuss experience, salary expectations, and compare notes to the ratings. The jurors may choose to go into executive session pursuant to the Louisiana statute R 5.42, 6.1 to deliberate the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of a person. The Lincoln Parish Police Jury candidate evaluation forms will be completed during each interview and collected from each panel member after the interview to be attached to the candidate's application and resume.
And you all understand that. We go into executive session. And then we attach the answers.
We'll attach the evaluation form to their application and resume. That way we'll have everything together.
You all understand that one?
Ms. Lacy,
Yes.
I'm gonna make a recommendation here. I didn't catch this earlier. I might suggest that where you have that statute listed by number, that we simply change that statement to say pursuant to state law, because those statute numbers sometimes change or are revised, and that way we don't have to continually try to change the numbers in policy.
Once a majority vote from the police jurors has been made to hire a candidate, the position, including the salary, will be offered to the candidate by the personnel officer or parish president immediately after the majority vote to hire the candidate, but during the meeting. If the candidate accepts the position, salary, and any other negotiations, the parish president will appoint the candidate with an official start date contingent upon satisfactory completion of required background checks and testing. If the candidate declines the position or salary, all 12 jurors, or I would just put all jurors present, will decide to negotiate, recommend another candidate, or re-advise for the position.
Now, you're saying that you would offer him the job.
Either, in that, where it says, offer the candidate, meaning if the candidate is not there, is not, there the night of the interviews when you all make a decision, I can either call them or the parish president can call them. But the reason is immediately at night because you all only meet once a month or you'll have special meetings, so forth and so on. But once the interviews are over, you all have decided about the candidate, then they should be immediately notified. That'll take away from everybody not being notified at one time, one person hearing that they got the job, the other candidates still don't know what's going on. So immediately at night, they'll know whether they have been offered the position, and you all will also know immediately whether they accept the position or decline the position. You'll know where to go from there.
So you're saying that it would be the night that we finish up the interview?
When you finish the interviews and you elaborate and discuss amongst yourselves, who you all would like to offer the position to, then once if you go into executive session, once you come out of executive session, make your motion on who you would like to offer the position to. If they're not there that night, then the personnel officer or someone can step out and call them immediately. That'll just keep from having to, keep calling separate meetings and, re-interviewing and coming back together on separate occasions. You can just get it out on that night.
Now,
excuse me.
Go
Is that okay?
ahead.
But the salary, when we talking about the salary, how are we going to negotiate with a salary that?
Because when they have their interview, one of the questions on the interview form is always, what salary do you desire? Or I think our question may say are you okay with the salary that was posted in the posting? So in this situation, this will give you, if you have a candidate that would like to negotiate the salary, you won't have to leave and come back. Everything will be taken care of that night. So when you walk up out of here, you'll know what salary they're expecting. You'll know what salary you're offering to them. They'll know what salary they'll be starting at.
Okay, now,
Miss-
Ah.
Excuse me, I'm not on the committee, but there is a concern that is not in here that I think we need to address, and on this hiring process, what do we do if there is a tie? Because I've seen it done differently this time. If there's a tie in the candidates,
If there's a tie in the candidates and you all just cannot under no circumstance come to an agreement, I would like to suggest having a second interview.
does that mean opening up the nomination again?
No, a second interview between
That's
those
what-
two candidates.
Okay.
But if you all would like, well, no, because if it's just a tie between those two, no need to bring others back in. So if anything, just have a second interview with separate questions, totally different questions from the first time, separate questions, more specific questions, more detailed questions, but a second interview between just those two candidates.
Thank you.
I have a question with the last part. Let me see what, no, not with the last part. With concerning background check
Yes.
and drug tests. Can you
Okay.
explain to us how the background check, was it a background check because our recent candidate, did he get background checks?
Our recent candidate did not get a background check
Did he get
because
drug
we had
test?
already, he did get drug test, that's, yes.
He got a drug test when?
The next day, well, the same day that he started, we sent him to do a testing. You all, it doesn't make sense to appoint somebody because you're putting him in this, you're appointing him to the position, you know,
Before the drug test and before the
well,
background?
you're appointing him to the position before any paperwork was done. He actually started the job before any paperwork was done.
That's right.
So this will avoid the situation. So when, the parish president will appoint the candidate with an official start date contingent upon satisfactory completion. So, say for instance, you appoint him tonight, his start date will not start until all paperwork has come back, and he is cleared.
So he was working illegal?
When he came in that morning, paperwork,
That Wednesday.
we started paperwork that day. So he did not,
No.
Did he get paid for that day?
yes, he did.
No.
But
It wasn't a background check.
a background check was not done on, Mr. Costello because you had already appointed him and put him in place.
So we did something wrong.
So you're saying,
Not
you're
necessarily
saying
because,
if we appoint a person, we are not supposed to, do a background check?
yes, a soft background check is done. A soft background check is something, is a check that's done locally through the sheriff's office. But that's only for Lincoln Parish. This background check is a nationwide background check, where you have to pay for it, you know, because he could have warrants or something in New
Yeah.
Jersey somewhere.
Ms. Lacy,
But
So,
that's
so
not-
why we didn't do one? So why didn't we do one?
We get a soft one, not the background, not this background check where it's done.
So that didn't apply then, but it's applying in the future.
Yes, we did a soft background check, which is just
Gotcha.
local Lincoln Parish. That was done.
Okay.
Ms.
So it
Lacy,
had-
just what we can make this very easy. I would be more than happy for you to do a national background check on me. That's not a problem. Okay?
A soft background check was done through Lincoln Parish Sheriff's Office and downstairs in the clerk of court. Anybody can go down there and do a background check. We consider that as a soft background check. But when you're appointing somebody in a position as parish administrator, we do a, national background check. That's worldwide, that's, done through, external company. But, that one was not, but a local background check for Lincoln Parish was processed. So he was illegal, like that, but
But now, when we appoint an administrator, immediately when we appoint whoever, the other administrator's gone, he immediately takes the position. So once we appoint him, he'll take that position.
Contingent.
Contingent on the stuff.
Right, if his paperwork does not come back, satisfactory, then, it will come back, to the jury, and then you all can decide to negotiate, what you all
Yeah, okay.
would like to do from there.
Give me that.
Okay. Salaries can be negotiated during the hiring process, but shall not exceed 25% above the starting base rate.
And I think that needs to be lower. We, not to be no more than 15%.
15%?
Is it any discussion from any of the other?
What do you think?
I don't think we should, I think we should maintain more flexibility than 15%.
You said what now?
I think we should maintain more flexibility. But that doesn't mean that we have to, but we maintain flexibility.
The
Well,
opportunity.
The reason why I said that is that normally, what we had been doing is that, if a person is coming from another job and is making one specific salary, we might end up going up to like 10%. So I just, we would negotiate at like 10%.
You can negotiate amongst yourselves, but if you want to offer 15%, you're more than welcome to offer 15%. Whatever you offer, this is just saying should not exceed the 25. So if you
Well,
offer
that's why I said I felt like we needed to not exceed 15%. And that's still, if we looking at the base salary, 15% is still quite a bit.
depending on what their salary is at that time, because 15% above their salary could be $10 more. Depending on if you're basing it on what they're making at that time from their previous employer. That's what you're saying? If that's what they're making?
I'm saying according to the 15% of what we said that the starting base salary. Now, I guess you could put in, if they are coming from another position and they were making more, we might could go for the 10%. But I'm talking about for someone that comes in and we have a starting salary. We don't know exactly what they are making, but they apply for this position. We would say that they can negotiate up to 15%.
One of the questions that you asked, this is only if they want to negotiate. Not everybody will negotiate. Normally, everybody would accept the starting base because that's one of the questions during the interview. Are you comfortable, or do you accept the salary that was in the paper or as it was advertised? But this is only in a situation where they would like to negotiate. And normally, you don't have too many people that, come in and negotiate because the salary is advertised, so you already know what you're walking into. This is only when somebody would like to negotiate.
That's why I said the 15%.
So how many of you all believe it should be 25% or 15%?
I would say we could do 15% if we want to, but we lose
Just stop at
flexibility.
15,
So I say
stop at 15.
cap it at 25, and then that gives us the flexibility to do what we need to do or what we need to do.
So 3 people,
So I say 25.
3 people say 25.
I say 25.
25.
25.
And then you said 25. Okay, let's stay at 25.
Okay, so salaries can be negotiated during the hiring process, but shall not exceed 25% above the starting base salary. Do anybody have any questions or concerns, any changes for parish administrator and treasurer? If not,
A little bit, no reflection on the use of the word changing from company to organization instead of jury. I think, this is just me personally, well, when we think of company, you got to think of the missions involved. When you think of a company, the mission is invest and profit. When you think of a police jury, it's taxes and services. organization is, in my opinion, Mr. Pastel, help me out here, organization can be a wide range of things. So, what I'm saying is, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not tied to that at all, I'm just saying.
So you wouldn't have a problem with it being jury instead? Okay, but you
So it'll
understand?
be, the overall success of the jury.
Jury.
Okay. We'll quickly move on to the, hiring procedures for exempt employees. And this does not include the parish administrator and the treasurer. This will mostly pertain to our department heads, the personnel officer, the purchasing officer, the assistant parish administrator. These are our salary exempt employees. We'll advertise a vacancy and post a full job description on the police jury website. This position will be posted on the website for a minimum of 14 days and will remain posted until the deadline date. We'll post the vacancy for 3 times in the official local newspaper and online, and the advertisement will include the job title, the brief job description, starting salary, and the deadline date. If the position cannot be filled by promotion of a current, interested, and qualified employee, the personnel committee, the parish administrator, the personnel officer, and legal counsel if necessary. They select up to 5 qualified applicants from the application, the resumes to interview. And the reason that it says current, interested, and qualified, because not everybody is interested to be promoted. Some employees are fine, where they are. So we don't want to put anybody in a position that they don't want. So that's the reason it says interested. The personnel officer will retain all applications and resumes as required, schedule and notify each eligible candidate of their interview date, time, and place. The interview panel will consist of the personnel committee chair, the parish administrator, the personnel officer, 1 employee from the vacancy department, and the legal counsel if necessary.
This one was changed. Wasn't it? You didn't have it.
Yes, normally the personnel committee chair would not be there, but
That's right.
yes, and neither would somebody from that department. And the reason an employee from that department is because they're in-house, they know what goes on within the department. So sometimes they'll know what a person would need more than, just the personnel chair or so forth and so on.
Ms. Lacy, I might suggest that we add on there, personnel committee chair or designee, in case it's not convenient for the chair to be there.
Okay. Okay, general interview questions will
We
be,
got it. Question back in the back.
Will the position be posted in-house before going out to the public first?
That's what it says.
yes, it will. It'll always be posted in-house. That's why it says that the position cannot be filled by promotion of a current, interested, or qualified employee. Each panel member, back to general interview questions that will be asked in advance. Specific questions for the panel or from the public should be submitted at least 24 hours in advance for legal approval. Candidates will only be asked to pre-approved questions except when a candidate is asked to elaborate on an answer. Each panel member will receive a Lincoln Parish.
That one was changed. to
Yes,
24
that
hours.
was changed to be 24 hours in advance. Again, the panel will receive the police jury evaluation form. You'll use this form to discuss experience, salary expectations, and compare notes to ratings. The police jury candidate evaluation form will be completed during each interview and collected from each panel member after the interview to be attached to their application and resume. Once a majority vote from the panel has been made to hire a candidate, the position will be offered to the candidate by the personnel officer immediately after the majority vote from the panel to hire the candidate. If the candidate accepts the position and salary, the candidate's official start date will be contingent upon satisfactory completion of a required background check and testing. If the candidate declines the position or salary at a later date, all panel members will reassemble to decide whether to negotiate offer position to another candidate or re-advertise for the position. And I said, at a later date, only because sometimes you may offer a position to them that night, they'll accept the position if they decide that they don't want to do the background check or the drug test and so forth, or they may have applied for more than one position and got a job somewhere else. They may come back next week and say, I'll decline. So that's the reason it says or at a later date. Do anybody have any questions or concerns for the salary exempt employees?
Somebody has it.
What's the question?
Are you all going to change the way you use your numbering system or the way you come up with who's going to be hired like you've done in the past, or will you have a set way of doing it and you stick with that?
I think you walked in late, we had already discussed that, but yes, we will do it differently than we have in the past.
You will do different?
Yeah.
Will that be posted or notified or anything?
Yes, we'll get with you, we only have a few more minutes, but if you have any questions after this, I'll be more than welcome to discuss with you.
Okay.
We'll move on to the non-exempt
I'm going
employee
to need to
position.
take time to answer questions.
We discussed it earlier, Mr. Smith, you just missed it. You
Yeah.
went over
I
it.
had a question
Yes.
Right, well, what I'm,
concerning the same thing that you all just discussed.
we're gonna answer your question, but we already answered it. So instead of going back to it, we only have 4 minutes to discuss. I'll let you know, but it's already been discussed. We've already talked about it, we've already moved on. We'll announce the vacancy in common office bulletin board and posting area that's accessible to all employees for at least 7 calendar days. We'll post a full job description on the police jury website. This position will be posted on the website for a minimum of 14 days and will remain posted until the deadline. Priority will be given to current, interested, and qualified employees for promotion within the police jury personnel system. If no one is properly qualified for advancement, the position will be filled at the discretion of the department head and personnel officer by hiring outside applicants directly or recruitment through an employment service. Superintending department heads and directors are given authority to hire on a temporary basis, and that's through the temp service. Disqualification. An applicant shall be eliminated from consideration if he or she does not meet the minimum qualifications necessary to perform the job, make a false statement on their application, has been committed or attempted to commit fraudulent acts at any stage of the selection process, is an alien or not legally permitted to work, failed to pass physical and drug or alcohol tests, and does not meet the posted marked deadline date. We do have applications that come in after the deadline date, and so we just send them a notice and let them know that we didn't receive it in time. Or the second one is a past felony conviction shall disqualify them except as to the positions where disqualification is required by law or other standards. However, a past felony doesn't necessarily mean they can't apply. Such as consideration may include the nature of the felony, the age of the conviction, the relationship of the felony to the duties of the open position, the applicant's work history, or other relevant factors. So just because they have a felony doesn't mean they can't qualify and be hired. We wouldn't hire somebody who is a bank robber who will be working with money. So it just depends on the nature of the felony, how long it's been, and their work history. Last, emergency appointment. Whenever an emergency exists in which the service of the personnel who are not otherwise available, the jury or department head may immediately hire such personnel for a period not to exceed 90 working days without regards to normal recruitment. This application must apply during the normal recruitment and selection process to be considered for the position if he or she so desires. Emergency hiring for non-parish administration positions will be coordinated through the personnel committee chair, the parish president, parish administrator, and our personnel officer. Assistant parish administrator will serve as interim in the case of a parish administrator position, emergency.
What if we have no assistant?
At one time, we didn't have a, assistant, but thank God that our parish administrator position wasn't vacant, but we have one now, and hopefully going forward. So it is an open position, so once that position becomes available, it'll be open, for applicants to apply.
Okay. Latanya, I think that you did a great job, and the committee think that you did a great job. We want you to continue, and you, once you, have the original part, we won't have a draft. We'll look over it again.
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Knight, can I make a motion that we, approve these as revised
Yes.
tonight? I'd like to make that motion that these are approved as revised tonight.
So, second.
Yes, we move and second that we will approve these as, they've been advised to do. All in favor? Okay, they approved.
And I noticed on the next one, you have to discuss and take action if necessary on the job descriptions, but there's no action to be taken. Everybody have received a copy of the, job descriptions with the revisions. So there's no action to take on the job descriptions.
Thank you. Any other business? None.